You've probably had this happen before. You wake up in the morning, and before you even open your eyes, you can feel whether your body recovered during the night. Some mornings feel clear. Others feel heavy, like your body was working on something while you slept. Think about what your body does while you sleep. You are not aware of it. You are not directing it. But something is happening. Your immune system is running its nightly repair cycle. Your liver is filtering everything that entered your body during the day. Your blood pressure drops. Your cells regenerate. Your brain clears the waste that accumulated while you were awake. The night is not downtime. The night is when your body does its most important work. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why the timing mattered so much and why eating garlic at night is completely different from eating it during the day. And here is the question almost nobody asks. What if there was something you could eat right before you close your eyes, that your body could use during those hours? Something that worked with the processes already happening while you sleep, instead of just sitting in your stomach waiting for morning. Something that ancient healers across Egypt, China, India, and Rome specifically recommended at night. Not in the morning, not with meals. At night, there was a reason for that. There is a plant that has been used as medicine for over 5,000 years. It has been found in the tombs of pharaohs. It was recorded on the walls of the Great Pyramid. Roman soldiers carried it into battle. Viking warriors took it to sea. Field medics in 2 world wars used it when their medicines ran out. And across almost every culture that used it, there was a specific instruction that kept appearing. Eat it at night. Not every tradition, but enough of them, spread across enough continents, across enough centuries, that the pattern is hard to ignore. Ancient Chinese medicine recommended it specifically before sleep, for what it did to the liver during the night hours. The Talmud recorded a specific day and time for its consumption, Friday evening, before rest. Ayurvedic texts described its most powerful effects as happening not while you were active, but while the body was still. Why at night? What were they noticing that we stopped paying attention to? It is small, white, wrapped in papery layers. It has a smell so distinct that most people recognize it before they see it. You know it by the smell, before you know it by the name. When you crush it, when you break its cell wall open, something changes. A chemical reaction happens. And what is released in that moment is one of the most studied natural compounds in the history of medicine. It is garlic. And what this plant does inside the body, especially during the hours you are asleep, is something most people have never been told. If this is already making you look at that little bulb in your kitchen differently, subscribe, because this is exactly what this channel is about. Ancient remedies your body may still recognize. Here is where this story begins. In 1922, when archaeologists opened the tomb of the Egyptian pharaoh Tutankhamun, they found gold. They found jewels. They found sacred objects placed there to protect him in the afterlife. And they found garlic, dried garlic cloves carefully placed among the most important objects in the burial. This was not decoration. In ancient Egyptian culture, garlic was medicine, and powerful enough medicine to be trusted with protecting a king beyond death. But here is the detail that most people miss. Garlic was not only placed beside kings, it was also given to workers. The workers who built the pyramids, the thousands of laborers who spent years moving stone in the Egyptian heat, were given garlic as part of their daily ration. This is recorded. The cost of the garlic fed to pyramid workers is actually inscribed on the walls of the Great Pyramid itself. So garlic was not luxury, it was labor medicine. Their overseers understood something simple. Garlic kept workers strong. Garlic kept them from getting sick. And in an era before antibiotics, keeping a workforce healthy was the difference between completing a monument and watching it fall apart. In the Bible, garlic appears in one of the most human moments in the entire text. In Numbers 11:5, the Israelites wandering in the desert look back at Egypt, not with fear, but with longing, and list the foods they miss. Among them, specifically, garlic. They had left behind everything, and garlic was what they mourned. The Talmud, the ancient body of Jewish law and commentary, records something more specific. Rabbi Ezra, one of the most revered figures in Jewish tradition, listed 5 reasons to eat garlic on Friday evenings: the eve of the Sabbath, the night before rest. He listed, it warms the body, it brightens the face, it was believed to support fertility. It kills parasites in the stomach, and it creates love, and removes jealousy. Whether you read those last 2 literally or symbolically, the instruction is clear. Garlic, at night, before rest. And this is where the night pattern becomes harder to ignore. In Ayurvedic medicine, garlic was classified as rasayana, a rejuvenating agent. And the specific teaching was that its most powerful effects operated not when the body was active, but when the body was still, when digestion had quieted, when the organs had turned their attention inward. Roman soldiers ate raw garlic before battle, not just for courage, but because they had observed that wounds healed faster in men who ate it regularly. Viking warriors carried it on sea voyages as their primary field medicine. And in World War I and World War II, when pharmaceutical supplies ran out on the front lines, field medics turned back to garlic. They applied it directly to infected wounds. The Soviet army used it so widely that it earned a name in medical literature that stuck for decades. Russian penicillin. Not a flattering name for a vegetable, but an honest one. Here is something most people do not know. A whole, uncut garlic clove does almost nothing medicinally. The compound that gives garlic its power, allicin, does not exist in the clove until the moment the cell wall is broken. When you crush, chew, or finely chop garlic, you trigger a chemical reaction between 2 substances that are kept separate inside the intact clove. They combine. Allicin is formed. This is why chewing a raw clove is very different from swallowing it whole. This is why garlic powder that has been processed at high heat has largely lost its effect. The reaction that creates allicin is delicate. Heat destroys it. Processing destroys it. The ancient instruction, eat it raw, crush it first, let it sit for 10 minutes before consuming, was not arbitrary. They had observed over generations that prepared this way, it worked differently than any other form. Modern science confirmed why. They just did not have the word allicin. What were ancient healers paying attention to across all these cultures? The most consistent observation is this. Garlic seemed to do something to the body's internal environment. People who ate it regularly got sick less often. Wounds healed differently. The blood seemed to move more freely, and something in the energy and recovery of the body, especially after rest, seemed different in people who used it consistently. In traditional Chinese medicine, the body's organ clock is a foundational concept. Different organs take their primary turn at repair and detoxification at different hours of the night. The liver, the body's primary filtration system, is believed to be most active between 1 and 3 in the morning. The specific recommendation in TCM was to eat garlic before sleep, so that its active compounds were circulating in the body during those hours, not sitting in the stomach, already absorbed, already present. Whether or not you accept the framework of the organ clock, the underlying observation is real. The liver does most of its detoxification work during sleep, and what is in the bloodstream during those hours directly affects how well that work gets done. Mediterranean cultures passed down the nightly garlic practice for blood pressure, not as a dramatic intervention, but as a quiet, consistent habit. Eat it before bed, let the body do the rest. And across multiple traditions, there was one more consistent observation that modern science has only recently begun to explain. Sleep itself seemed better. The active compound in garlic, allicin, breaks down quickly after it is formed. Within hours, it converts into other sulfur-containing compounds. And it is those compounds that researchers have been studying intensively. And this is where the ancient observation starts to meet modern science. This may be why some people don't notice garlic as a medicine immediately. They notice it as a body shift first. Warmer hands, calmer pressure, deeper sleep, clearer mornings. Garlic has been shown in multiple controlled studies to significantly reduce blood pressure, particularly systolic pressure, the upper number. A meta-analysis of randomized controlled trials found that garlic supplementation reduced systolic blood pressure by an average of 8 to 9 points in people with elevated levels. For context, some pharmaceutical medications are used to achieve similar reductions. Why does this matter specifically at night? Because blood pressure naturally drops during sleep, and the depth of that drop is one of the strongest predictors of cardiovascular health. People whose blood pressure does not drop adequately during sleep have significantly higher risk of heart disease and stroke. Anything that supports that natural nighttime drop is working with the body's existing rhythm. The second finding is about the immune system. Garlic has been shown to boost the activity of natural killer cells, a specific type of immune cell that identifies and destroys infected or abnormal cells. Natural killer cells are most active during sleep. This is when the immune system runs its nightly patrol. Consuming garlic before sleep means the allicin and its derivative compounds are circulating in the body during the hours when the immune system is most ready to use them. A study published in the journal Advances in Therapy found that people who took a garlic supplement daily over 12 weeks had 63% fewer colds than the placebo group. And when they did get sick, their recovery time was significantly shorter. The third finding is about sleep itself. Garlic contains compounds that support the production of hydrogen sulfide in the body. Hydrogen sulfide, in small, controlled amounts, relaxes the smooth muscle in blood vessel walls. This leads to vasodilation, widening of the blood vessels, which reduces resistance to blood flow and naturally lowers the body's overall state of physical tension. This is one of the mechanisms behind garlic's blood pressure effect. But it also creates the physical conditions the body needs to enter deep sleep. Relaxed vasculature, reduced blood pressure, lower cortisol, Studies have found that garlic consumption is associated with reduced cortisol levels. Cortisol is the body's primary stress hormone, and it is the primary enemy of deep sleep. High cortisol at night is what keeps people lying awake. What keeps the mind running? What makes sleep feel light and unrestful even when the hours are sufficient? Garlic, consumed before bed, works against exactly that. And finally, the gut. Garlic is a prebiotic. It feeds beneficial bacteria in the gut microbiome. And the gut microbiome communicates directly with the brain via the vagus nerve, sending signals that affect mood, anxiety, and sleep quality throughout the night. The ancient observation that something changed during sleep in people who consumed garlic regularly, that recovery felt different, that the morning felt different, was a real observation. The mechanism was just invisible to them. So we decided to pay attention the way the ancient world paid attention. Not with a laboratory, not with tracking devices or sleep monitors, just with the body and with the night. 7 days. 1 raw garlic clove, crushed, rested for 10 minutes, then eaten right before bed. And here is what we noticed. But the real question is, would you actually feel anything within just a few days? Day 1. The first thing most people notice is not the benefit. It is the taste, the sharpness, the warmth, the very real thought. Why did I agree to this? The warmth in the chest, the lingering taste. Some people feel a gentle heat spreading through the stomach as they lie down, different from the heat of cayenne, more diffuse, more settling. Some notice their hands and feet feel slightly warmer than usual. Sleep comes normally, nothing dramatic, but something is already beginning. Day 2. Some people notice they wake up feeling slightly clearer than usual. Not dramatically, but there is a quality to the morning that is different. Less of the foggy, slow pull that can make the first hour of the day feel like wading through something. Some people also notice their digestion feels different, lighter, more settled. Day 3. This is often the first night where something noticeable happens during sleep itself. And this is where most people realize this might actually be doing something. Some people report sleeping more deeply than usual. Others notice vivid dreams, which is often a sign the brain is cycling through deeper sleep stages than it normally reaches. The body is adjusting to what is circulating during the night. Day 4. Energy in the morning is more stable for many people. Not a spike, nothing that feels artificial. More like arriving at the start of the day already running, rather than needing the first hour to warm up. Some people also notice their sinuses feel clearer, the antimicrobial effect of Allicin, working on the respiratory tract during the hours of rest. Day 5. For people who normally experience nighttime tension, tight muscles, a sense of restlessness before sleep, this is often the night where that starts to quiet. The vasodilatory effect of garlic's compounds is cumulative. The body has been adapting for 5 nights. Blood vessels are more relaxed. The physical act of lying down starts to feel more like release. Day 6. Immune awareness. It is difficult to describe this precisely, but some people report feeling more resilient, less of the low-level vulnerability that can appear during a busy or stressful week. a sense that the body's defenses are more alert. This is consistent with what the research on natural killer cell activity shows, but experiencing it is different from reading about it. Day 7. The clearest observation most people report is this. The morning. 7 mornings in, something has changed in the transition from sleep to waking. It is less of a crossing and more of a return. The body feels like it did something useful during the night, and the evidence of that is in how the first hour of the day feels. But this is the part that decides whether you actually get the effect or just get garlic breath and none of the benefit. The preparation matters more with garlic than with almost any other plant. The most important step, crush or finely chop the clove first. Then wait 10 minutes before eating it. This resting period is when the allicin formation completes. Do not skip this step. A clove that is swallowed whole or crushed and immediately consumed has significantly less active allicin than one that is allowed to rest. For eating raw, 1 clove, crushed, rested 10 minutes, then eaten with a small piece of food to reduce the intensity. A slice of apple, a small amount of honey, or a piece of bread all work well. The food also protects the stomach lining from the direct intensity of raw allicin on an empty stomach. Timing: 15 to 30 minutes before sleep. Not hours before. You want the compounds circulating during the night, not already metabolized before you lie down. For those who cannot tolerate raw garlic, lightly roasted garlic loses some allicin but retains other beneficial sulfur compounds. It is not the same as raw, but it is not without effect either. What to avoid? Garlic supplements in capsule form, garlic powder from a jar, and pre-minced garlic stored in oil. All of these have significantly reduced allicin content compared to a fresh clove crushed at the moment of use. The whole point is the enzymatic reaction, and that reaction requires a fresh, intact clove that you break open yourself. 1 clove, crushed, rested, eaten before bed. That is the practice that has been passed down for 5,000 years. Now, before anyone turns this into a garlic eating competition, this is not about more being better. Raw garlic in the amounts described here, 1 clove per night, is generally tolerated by many people. People with acid reflux or GERD may find that raw garlic before bed worsens symptoms. In this case, lightly cooked garlic is a better option, or reducing the amount to half a clove and building up slowly. Garlic has mild blood-thinning properties. People on anticoagulant medications such as warfarin or aspirin therapy should consult their doctor before making this a nightly practice, as the combination can amplify the blood-thinning effect. People scheduled for surgery are typically advised to stop garlic supplementation 1 to 2 weeks beforehand for the same reason. Some people experience digestive discomfort, gas, bloating, or mild cramping in the first few days of regular raw garlic consumption. This usually settles as the gut microbiome adjusts. Starting with half a clove and increasing gradually can help. The breath. It is worth acknowledging this directly. Raw garlic before bed means garlic breath, not just immediately after eating, but potentially into the morning as the sulfur compounds continue to metabolize. A small amount of parsley consumed after the garlic can help reduce this. Brushing teeth afterward also helps. though it does not eliminate it entirely. And as always, the rule every ancient tradition knew: start small. Pay attention. Your body will tell you what it needs and what it does not. Here is what stays with me about garlic before bed. The night is the time we give least attention to. We think about what we eat during the day. We think about exercise and morning routines. But the 8 hours when the body is doing its most important repair work, most people enter those hours with no intention at all. Ancient healers thought differently. They understood that the night was not passive, that what you gave the body before sleep was not just food. It was preparation. It was setting the conditions for everything the body was about to do in the dark without you. And across 5,000 years of observation, from Egyptian pyramid workers to Roman soldiers to Jewish scholars to Chinese physicians to World War battlefield medics, the same small plant kept appearing in the same instruction: before rest, before sleep, before the night begins its work. Maybe they knew something about the night that we forgot. Try this for the next 7 nights, only if it feels right for your body. Then come back and tell me what changed first: your sleep, your morning energy, your digestion, or something quieter you didn't expect. Because sometimes the most important changes are not loud. They are the ones you almost miss, until your body reminds you. That is the part that matters most. Not just what the science says, but what your body tells you when you finally start listening at night.